So what I wanted to do is really move on to stage 2, marketplace launch. Where are you going to launch your products? Where's the best place to do that? Now, there's 3 steps to the marketplace launch. You've got to decide on the marketplace you want to launch on, or the marketplaces. You've got to ship your products, and you've got to translate your products. Because whilst launching in the EU is a massive opportunity, you have 5 languages. Therefore, you've got 5 different marketplaces, 5 languages, 5. Anyway, we'll come on to translations in a moment. So, where are you going to launch your product? Now, dependent on your product is going to depend where you're going to launch that. Now, a lot of clients we work with already work with Amazon in the US. So it makes perfect sense to launch in Amazon in the EU. Totally makes sense. But what other options are there? What's the omni-channel experience that you need to engage to make that work best for you? Now, eBay's on the screen here. eBay's having a rocky road here in the UK, I would suggest. It seems to have changed hugely in how people use it and engage with it. And a lot of that's down to the fraudulent sellers that have been on there. They see Amazon as a respected brand. If you have an issue on Amazon, as you know in the US, a customer complains, they resolve it straight away, done. eBay hasn't really gone down that route, and it hasn't really resolved it. So what happens is consumers have lost faith with that. And I know that everyone complains that Amazon's too soft with a lot of clients, and that, you know, they basically let people have reviews and all that sort of stuff, makes it a little bit more difficult. But actually, Amazon's grown in customer base, and eBay seems to be dropping off. What we do suggest for eBay, though, is perhaps when you get your returns, putting them on eBay. You know, when you get your non-fillable inventory in Amazon, you can get that returned to us, for example, in the warehouse, and we can repackage that, send it back to Amazon if you wanted, or you can sell that on eBay. There are other platforms you need to consider based on your products. So we've got a lot of clients that sell on their own website, and we'll come on to that later because we put that a bit further down the line because it adds complications. Now, the other thing you consider is Etsy. Etsy is a really good marketplace, but when does it work and when doesn't it? You know, then there's OnBuy, there's OneBuy, there's all these different places that you can go, but you need to research what works best for your product. If you're not sure, give us a shout. We've got a complete list of all of the marketplaces and which ones of our clients are using which to make the best inroads. Amazon is by far the biggest, therefore it has the best return. But there's also the most competition. So that's where you're then going to weigh that up. The next thing to think about is shipping. Once you've launched on that marketplace, well, or once you've got set up on that marketplace, what you need to do is your listings and everything else. You get all that done. The next thing you need to consider is shipping. Now, how are you going to get your products from wherever they are in the world to the UK? Now, you really want to start that really simple. So when you launch on Amazon, you want to probably start with the European Fulfillment Network. The EFN network basically takes all the products from the UK, and then when someone wants to sell their product, so you say, well, all of my products are going to be in the UK. We're on the European Fulfillment Network, and what we're going to do is we'll launch our products in the other marketplaces, so Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. But we're not going to put our products there, because the moment your products are there is the moment you have responsibility to be VAT registered in those countries. So ideally, you don't want to do that straight away. You basically want to fulfill from the UK first on the European Fulfillment Network and get that sorted. From there, what you then do is you then ship to the other countries. There are thresholds involved, which we won't worry about on this webinar, but our VAT consultants will keep you updated with that. But what you've got to do is get your products here in the first place. So you need to use a decent shipping company to get your products into the UK. Now, depending on where you're shipping them from, whether that be the States or China or India or wherever else your products come from, you need to consider that. Now, for ease and speed, what we recommend is taking a small amount of products and flying them over. Just don't worry about shipping them, fly them over and get them in the marketplace and start selling. Because the biggest problem that everyone has is they sign up and they don't do anything. So it's crucial that what you do is you get your products and just get some here. That's really, really crucial to basically make that happen. So what you do is you take the products and you fly some here. At the same time, you start shipping some on a container from wherever they come from in the world. That'll give yourself 30 days, give or take, where you are in the world, to basically get them into the marketplace. So basically, marketplace launch, you set up, you sign up to the marketplace, you basically then create your listings as you would do in any other country. Then you got to sort out, whilst you're doing that, you sort the shipping out. And then the last thing on the marketplace launch is sorting out the translations. So there's 3 options for translations. Now, the first one is free, it's easy to do, and there is no excuse why you don't do it. We work with 1,500 sellers, and all of them, when we do the returns, we know whether people have translated their products or not. It's literally daylight, because we can see the percentage they are selling in the UK against Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. So to give you a broad understanding, the UK, if the UK is at 100%, Germany should be at least 70 to 80% of that. France should be around 50%. Italy and Spain is around 20%, like give or take. Now, there are a huge amount of anomalies to that based on your product. We're working with a client at the moment whose sales in Germany are higher than what they are in the UK, because the product resonates better with German clients than it does the UK clients. It's just how it is. Yeah. France, on the other hand, for that same client, is nowhere near 50%. It's more like 15%. So there are some differences and anomalies, but we can see those and look at those. But really, translations are absolutely critical. So the first thing you need to do is free. You go to Google Translate, you put your product in and you translate it. But that's not just your listing. That's the keywords. The keywords need to be in your listings. You all know this sort of stuff. It also needs to be in your ads and your ads and any sort of negative keywords and things you're doing as well. Absolutely crucial. And you need to make sure that all of that is translated, because if it's not, it will affect your sales without a shadow of a doubt. So as I mentioned, the first thing to do is free. That's what you should do. And when you first launch, that's absolutely critical. So at this stage, you're just getting your listings up, you're just shipping the product. At this point is when you should do the translation and do a free translation. The only thing you need to be careful with the translation is when you're doing the title, you need to make sure it doesn't go above 160 characters for the EU marketplaces. Further down the line, we're going to talk about more translations, but when you need to pay to do it to get a better translation. So that is marketplace launch. Really simple. You sign up to the marketplace, you ship your products, fly a small amount of products in first and ship the rest, and then translate your products. Free translation, Google Translate or equivalent, and you get that done.